Seemed like just yesterday, man, the Detroit Lions were losing to the Washington Commanders. And check this out. It was exactly 2 months ago today, March 18th, 2025, from the making of this video, that the Detroit Lions lost to the Washington Commanders. And I thought it was going to be an extremely long offseason, but to my surprise, it has kind of flown by. And just like that, in the blink of an eye, we're pretty much done with free agency, and we are about 5 weeks away from the NFL draft. I mean, not too long ago, I was talking about the NFL Combine. With that being the case, man, this might be the latest period that I've been doing YouTube, specifically Detroit Lions, that I have incorporated a mock draft of any sort. We used to do Todd McShay and Mel Kiper, and there's a couple other people that do. I like to do Mel Kiper's draft because he's kind of like the guy when it comes to, and I say quotations, the guy. And you guys know the who is Mel Kiper anyway? I think I still got that sound bite. So I like to do, his causes a lot of uproar too. So I like to do his, but we're going to do our first mock draft today, meaning with the 28th pick, the Detroit Lions select. So have not done one of these in a while, and it's already March 18th. I'm not sure how many I'm going to do, but Mel Kiper usually does about 3 or 4, maybe sometimes even 5. I'm sure I've missed one because there's usually some like right after the season and then right before free agency. And then this appears to be the one that is after free agency. But without further ado, let's get it started, man. So here we go. The Detroit Lions select according to Mel Kiper. Man, I love when videos can kind of run. You have like a series of videos, and we've been doing, this is our 4th year. This is the 4th year doing this type of video. Here we go. So according to Mel Kiper, with the 28th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select James Pierce Jr., outside linebacker from Tennessee. Here's what Mel had to say. Pierce could be the answer opposite Aiden Hutchinson. Besides figuring out how to stay healthy, the second edge rusher spot was the Lions' biggest question last season. How long I've been saying that? Huh? How long I've been saying it? You can't deny it, man. They traded for Zadarius Smith at midseason and he ended up contributing with 4 sacks over 8 games. And we cut him. And we still ain't done nothing. But we cut him though. But to get past their playoff hump, having a steadier presence rushing the passer on the other side of Hutchinson is key. Pierce had just 7.5 sacks in 2024, but his 19% pressure rate was second in the FBS. He keeps offensive tackles guessing with his burst and strength. Now, I personally like this kid, and I mean, he's not the prototypical pass rusher, but I do like him. There's a couple guys that I like, but wouldn't be mad. I know Abdul Carter is going to be off the board. I know we're talking about, man, the other guy that for some reason Jahad Campbell, who might be more likely to be there when we pick, but I don't know, because I've seen some mock drafts that Pierce is falling to the 2nd round. So I guess the Detroit Lions are in good company being where they are picking in the draft. So let's take a look at, from NFL Draft Buzz, kind of like some of his measurements and stats. His sub position is a edge rusher. It was updated after the NFL Combine, and he's going to be drafted this year. Take a look at these numbers here. Now you can take a look right here. Of course, the more red it is, the worse. And the more teal greenish it is, it's better. So prototypical edge rusher, which I think is what they have him under, he is lower in weight. If you look at James Pierce Jr., I know you guys are not going to want to hear this because to me, they're 2 different players, but he weighs the same thing as James Houston weighed coming into the NFL. The height is in the upper percentile, hands 40, vertical, all of this stuff. Vertical is on the lower, mid to lower side. Broad jump is high. Arms are in the mid to lower side as well. All right. Wingspan on the higher side than the lower side. You can see from here, it's kind of a oranges, and that would be right here. So I'm going to say that this orange right here is probably the midway point, with all the other colors to the right being higher. So I will say that Aiden Hutchinson had shorter arms when it came to these type of measurements, and he is doing just fine. So I'm not going to be put off by that. Taking a look at his overall rating is 89.5 out of 100, getting 81% in offensive rating, tackling 73%, pass rush 100, and run defense 94. Take a look, go down just a little bit. His player comparisons: Chop Robinson, Jalen Phillips, and Latu from UCLA. I know a couple people who wanted him in the years past. I like Jalen Phillips. He cannot stay healthy, which is a concern. I remember when we were drafting that year, Jalen Phillips was a guy that I was looking at. Wouldn't have mind if we would have got him. Of course, he's had derailments by injury, but when he's healthy, but that's something that the Detroit Lions have to deal with all the time. Seems like Brad wants to do that. And Chop Robinson was also a guy that was mocked to us several times in the NFL draft. I will link this in the pinned comment so you guys can go check it out on your own time. I'll even link to this profile for the pinned comment, but let's just take a look at that first paragraph. It says, Pierce profiles as an immediate impact pass rush specialist with the ceiling to develop into a complete 3-down edge defender. His elite get off and bend profile fits perfectly for today's pass happy NFL, where his ability to threaten the edge will command attention from day one. Smart defensive coordinators will initially deploy him in obvious passing situations while developing his run defense, similar to how Brian Burns was used early in his career. That's kind of what I was thinking, along the lines of one of those pass rushers. Now, the question that I have for you in the comment section is, would you prefer a prototypical 265, 270 pound defensive end, day one NFL pass rusher, or would you mind a kind of, not a project, because I don't think James is a project, but a pass rush specialist, seeing as how we just came from James Houston? Not comparing the two. I've seen this guy. I think he is leaps and bounds better than James Houston, but another guy that if he's not ready, if the Lions, and it all depends on what the Lions see in him. If they think he's ready to be a 3-down pass rusher, then that's what he would be. I don't think we would use him as that. And that's why I keep saying that it wouldn't be a bad idea to get an actual edge rusher, whether that is a free agent, one of the remaining free agents, somebody that I would prefer it to be before somebody is cut, before September rolls around, so that we can give James or whoever we draft the ability to become that guy. Look at what the Minnesota Vikings did with Dallas Turner. Will Anderson Jr. came in right away. Jalen Carter came in right away, but not everyone is going to be able to do that. I would prefer an impact player right away. I believe this guy would be that. But what would you prefer? Prototypical edge rusher or an outside linebacker, kind of hybrid, rushing the passer, somebody that might be a little rough around the edges? Let me know, man. To me, like I said, because I think the Detroit Lions might go, if they did go with somebody like James Pierce, I think they go prototypical edge at 60. I think somewhere in this draft, before the 4th or 5th or 6th round, which is when usually Brad will do that after you alleviate or you take out Josh Pascal and Levi, typically he just waits to the 6th round. I think before the 6th round rolls around, we're going to get an impact player in the first 3 picks, multiple impact players, maybe all 3. All right. So give me your thoughts. Let me know. Do you agree with Mel Kiper? How would you feel about James Pierce Jr.? And who would you want if they're sitting there at 28? Brad does not have to trade up. Who would you want to be a Detroit Lion? This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. You can be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.